See all of you, we welcome you to this candidates forum for the towns of Ayden and Grifton, two of Pitt County's North Carolina 10 municipalities. Today is Tuesday, September 30th, 2025. We are grateful for each and every one of you. Give yourselves a hand. We certainly want to open up with a brief prayer. Let every heart pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come together thanking you for this candidates forum and trust you will allow all that thy will be done, touching each candidate in the way that you know best. In Jesus' name, let every heart and every believer say amen.
Amen.
At this time, it gives me great honor to introduce our MC for the evening. Judge Wendy S. Hazelton has been serving as a district court judge for North Carolina's District 3 since being elected in November of 2016. Judge Hazelton is Pitt County's second female judge. She is the first African-American judge to serve on the county's judicial bench in its 265-year history. Awesome. Originally from Eastern North Carolina, she graduated from North Carolina Central University School of Law in 2006. Prior to serving on the judicial bench, Judge Hazelton served this community as an assistant public defender for 9 years. Judge Hazelton and her husband, Eric, have 3 beautiful children. Let's put our hands together as I present to you the Honorable Judge Wendy S. Hazelton.
Thank you and good evening to everyone.
Good evening.
Again, welcome to the candidates forum for the towns of Ayden and Grifton. Before we begin with the forum, I'm going to give some house rules, so please listen very carefully. This is a friendly forum, not a debate event. We will not tolerate character attacks from candidate to candidate, from audience to candidate, from moderator to candidate, from candidate to moderator, and so forth and so on. No campaign signs or banners are allowed inside this facility. However, candidates may hand out their campaign literature at any time. If there is only one candidate on the platform, then that candidate will have the floor to answer questions for approximately 10 minutes. This does not include the 1-minute introduction and the 1-minute closing remarks. The clock manager, Dr. Glenn E. Johnson, are you present?
No.
We have a feeling. The clock manager will be seated on the floor in front of the candidates to set the time on the digital clock. If the candidate is in middle of a sentence when the buzz time goes off, they will be given an additional 30 seconds to complete those 1 to 2 sentences. If a candidate continues to speak past the graced 30 seconds, then the moderator who asked the question will ask and call time to bring order back to the forum. If the candidate continues to talk, their mic will be turned off. At this time, I would like to call the first set of candidates to the table. We're going to start with the town of Grifton. Can I have Mr. Ed Biner Jr. to come to the table? Our incumbent, Mr. Claude Kennedy, and Mr. Kenneth Smith. This is Board of Commissioners, Town of Grifton. I also want to introduce our moderators for tonight. We have Minister Andrew Davis, if you would wave for us.
That's me.
We have Mrs. Renee Boston Hill.
That's me.
And we have Reverend Dr. Andra Cunningham. Each candidate will be given a 1-minute timed introduction, and that will begin from left to right. The order of the forum questions will be from left to right, then from right to left. Again, we do encourage the audience to submit questions if you have questions. Ushers will have those note cards and collect those questions. The questions will be screened to make sure that there are no duplicate questions. We do reserve the right to not present questions that are against the forum rules. If no questions are asked from the audience, then the moderators will ask their questions that they have prepared. Each candidate will then be given a 2-minute timed response to respond to the questions. They will then, at the conclusion, be given a 1-minute closing remark time from left to right. All right, I will now pass the program over to the moderators.
Okay. You could start with Mr. Ed Biner. I'll be asking you 2 questions. One will be a question that has come in from the community, and then I'll ask you a more specific question. My first question is, how has your past leadership positions, how have your past leadership positions contributed to your successful advancement for the town of Grifton?
I've been a retail manager for 20 years now. I have experience with just dealing with people.
Mm-hmm. You have 2 minutes. Go ahead.
So I've just gained a lot of experience from just being in that position, that role, and doing that for, like I said, 20 years now. It's kind of amazing to look back on that. I've been doing it that long.
Mm.
So I have just problem solving skills from helping customers, and stuff like that.
Okay.
Dr. Cunningham,
Yes.
we need to give them their 1-minute opening.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Yeah, I missed that. Let's backtrack. You have 1 minute to introduce yourself.
For everybody that doesn't know me, I've lived in Grifton now 11 years. I've been on St. Joseph Street. When I first moved in, people would ask me where I live. I said St. Joseph Street, and they go, where? I go, and I want to hear somebody groan, please. I would say next to Gene Coley. I would either get a or hey, I know him. But my wife and I, we've lived there for 11 years now. We have a son. He's about to turn 7 here at the end of the year, and I still can't picture anywhere else to be. People say, "You ever going to move out of Grifton?" I said, "I don't plan on it. I really don't."
Okay, thank you.
Opening statement for Mr. Kenneth Smith, please.
Yeah.
1 minute.
Okay. My name is Kenneth Smith. I'm excited to be here. I want to first and foremost thank the forum for hosting this, the candidates, give opportunity for each person to be able to hear what each candidate stands for. So thank you so much for doing that. I also want to thank you as audience for coming out, because we know in these days we live in that participation in government is very low. And so I want to thank each and everyone for the interest coming out, especially on a weeknight. I am a lifelong resident of Eastern North Carolina. I'm married, have 3 children, and I'm excited about being part of what Grifton is already doing. They're proud past of what they have already accomplished. And I look forward to being part of the future of Grifton, because if you drive through Grifton, you know that better days are ahead. I do not believe that the best is in the past. And so I'm excited about being part of this. And as a lifelong resident of Eastern North Carolina, I feel like I have a lot to offer to the town of Grifton.
Okay, thank you. Opening statement for Mr. Clark Kennedy.
I'd like to echo what Mr. Smith has just said, to thank everyone that had anything to do with preparing and putting this forum on. My name is Claude Kennedy. I'm a native of Kinston. I've been in Grifton since 1969. I taught and coached at Ayden and Grifton High School. I was assistant principal at D.H. Conley and Ayden and Grifton High School. and I was principal out of Gerald Whitfield High School, middle school, and I retired from the school system. This is my second term serving on the board of commissioners in the town of Grifton, and I look forward to everyone coming out to vote. Number one, whether you vote for me, but come out and vote. That's what I would like for you to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we can go back to our, our general questions that we had. You answered one question. I'll ask the second part of it. You still have the 2 minutes. What are your ideas as far as infrastructure development that would take place to keep pace with population growth for
That's
the
a good
town of
question.
Grifton?
That's a question that's become up a lot lately in Grifton. I know the town manager right now, he's been working hard on some of those ideas already. The pump stations, they need to be upgraded. That's been talked about at town hall meetings, I think, for the past 3-4 months at least now, if not a year probably. I know there's certain areas of Grifton that have flooding, and I've witnessed firsthand. I mean, we get a bad rainstorm, these drains aren't flowing. So we need to look into that too, because, we have some new houses, and I think it was probably 6 months ago at least, if not a little bit longer, somebody came to a town hall meeting, stood at the podium and said they just bought a house, that was just built within the past year, and they got water coming into their yard, into their house from their yard. And, we can't have that. It's going to turn people off if they're going to find out that, water is going to come in your house on a brand new house. I wouldn't want to buy a house in that neighborhood if I found that out. So we need to, I know the town's looking into that. I've talked to the maintenance manager. He's been out there. He gets his crew out there looking, to solve those issues. But we need to make sure we have our systems upgraded.
Okay.
Okay.
Right, next.
Okay. My question is one of the community questions, and this was going to be for
Kenneth Smith.
Mr. Kenneth Smith.
Mhm.
Okay, Mr. Kenneth Smith. Okay. My question for you is, for those who are incumbents, for the challenger, what issues make you available enough to give you my vote and not the incumbent? And this is a community question. You will have 2 minutes to answer the question. We start the clock.
Could you repeat the question if you don't
The
mind?
question is, what issues make you available enough to give you my vote and not the incumbent? And this is a community question. This is a question from the community.
So here's the great thing about that. I'm not asking you not to vote for the incumbent. You're not going to hear that from a lot of folks. You get 2 votes for commissioner. Well, the incumbent is one of the votes. I think Mr. Kennedy's doing a great job on the board, and I'm not running against Mr. Kennedy. I'm running for a vacant seat that my neighbor is not seeking re-election. And so I'm not running against an incumbent. I'm running for a seat. I'm running for the people. And also I want to let you know is that with my experience, for the past 20 years, I've served in public life. I've been a town commissioner already for a small town called Turkey, North Carolina. I've also served a little town called Atkinson. I was their mayor during one of the worst natural disasters that they had. And so when the town was surrounded by water, kind of like the comments that were just made by one of my opponents about infrastructure, I know what it would take to be able to step in day one to work towards that. As someone who has dealt with infrastructure issues, I served 8 years on the Pender County Board of Education. I know what it means to serve with a diverse population. And just recently, before moving to Pitt County, I served as a county commissioner. I would say this is that out of votes, if you want to vote for experience, I definitely would be someone I feel like would fill that qualification. And so I would ask for that, not to vote against an incumbent, but I'd simply ask you to let me be one of your second votes.
All right.
So I hope that I just gained your vote.
All right.
Your specific
Okay.
question.
Now, the next question I had, and this is a personal question, and it's pretty interesting, I guess, on a lot of people's mind, I'm sure. Okay. The next question would be for affordable housing. What would you do to make sure, with all the things that's going on, with the inflation and all the things, price of everything going up, food, gas, whatever, what will you do to ensure that the community has affordable housing? You will have 2 minutes to answer that question as well.
Is that for me also?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't mean to dominate the debate tonight or the
That's okay.
forum, but if that's for me, that's fine. Affordable housing. See, the government. Here's the thing: if you allow the government to control the price variance in houses, then the thing that you're going to have, the government that can change the value of a house, is also the government that can destroy the value of a house. And so what we must do is simply make it where people it's affordable to live in Grifton. I believe it is. I had an opportunity to look at many towns in Pitt County. I chose Grifton because I felt like it was a place that not only could we afford, if you look at homes in Greenville and other places, it's a place that I felt like that we could raise our family in. And so my little boy's 5 years old. He's playing on the Grifton T-ball team, affordable housing. That spoke to me because I have to make a house payment just like everyone else. And so that's an important issue, but it's also something that I think what the government should do is step back and let the free enterprise system work.
Okay, I have a question for Mr. Claude Kennedy, and it's regarding the economic development. What strategies do you support to attract new businesses and jobs to the town of Grifton?
Thank you. I think at this particular time, the way Grifton is growing, we have 3 subdivisions that are under construction at this time. And with the influx of individuals that will be coming into our town to live, I think that it's going to impact the economic development situation that we have at the present time. We are trying to make sure that we have a water quality that people will, at that particular time, we want the water to be clean. We want a good sewer system. We want our infrastructure to be top of the line. In doing so, I think we will have economic development at this end of the county. From Ayden on down, I think it will impact that.
Okay.
All right, this is one more part of the question. Well, what type of business, and I'll ask this of Mr. Smith, what type of business would you say would attract someone to come to Grifton? Mr. Smith, Kenneth Smith, you.
Oh, did you want him to finish answering the question?
No, you.
You want to do it?
I want to
Okay.
know, what do you see? What type of new business do you see for Grifton?
Well, if you've been to Grifton, you realize that we're not going to be bringing industry in Grifton. I mean, we're kind of landlocked to a degree of what land we have, but we have a downtown that's thriving of opportunity. A lot of businesses are closed in Grifton, but it means it's an opportunity. What businesses? I mean, I can't say because it would be up to the person who is bringing that business. And there's a lot of development to see what would work in Grifton. I managed Ace Hardware for several years. And before they built that Ace Hardware in the town I was in, they went in to see, was there a need for that? And so I would think that whatever services that were needed, that's what they would look for. So I think it would be kind of premature for me saying this business or that business, because then I'm not going to pick or choose the winners and losers.
Okay, and this last one is for Mr. Brenner. What type of new business would you see for Grifton? And what kinds of jobs would you see to attract people to come to Grifton?
That question has actually been a debate on Facebook a little bit. We have a building that's been renovated. The storefront's been redone, and the person that's done that work has asked what we would like to see. And it's a wide variety. I know people would like to see another thrift store maybe come back in there. That location was called Cannon's Consignment Shop, which I know people love. I wouldn't mind seeing like a restaurant somewhere where you can go out on a date night with your wife, or just somewhere to go with some friends and just talk, social meeting place. I've seen suggestions all over the place, like axe throwing like they have down in Kinston. But like Mr. Smith said, that's really going to be up to the person that wants to come to Grifton. They're going to look to see what the demographics are. They're going to look to see what the locations they can go into and what might work there, what might not. We are thriving, growing with the subdivisions. And younger families are moving in. So, it can be a wide variety of places. Like I said, it's hard to really say what can come into town, but whatever does come into town, I really think the folks in Grifton will support it like they do with the Food Pride, Highway 55, Greg's Pizza, all those places, so it's just going to really be up to whoever wants to bring a business to town to do their research and
Okay,
hopefully can support it as citizens.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Carl Kennedy, from your previous experience, you have 2 minutes, from your previous experience and knowledge, what have you seen that needs to be improved as far as Grifton's infrastructure?
Currently, we are working to make sure that our water system, our sewer system, the infrastructure is the best that it can be. And we're constantly working to improve that each and every day. We have a maintenance director and a new town manager that's been with us a little less than a year. And both of these individuals, along with our town board, have worked tirelessly to make sure that these features that I just mentioned, water and sewer, as everyone knows, are very important, whether it's a large town or a small town. And hopefully the infrastructure that we have, as Mr. Bonner mentioned about businesses coming into town, it's a free enterprise system. And we would like to invite any business that would feel free to come to Grifton. We would certainly welcome them.
Okay. All right, my second question, well, what investment would you like to see made in Grifton that would impact the lives of families and youth in Grifton?
I think that having a town that welcomes citizens, having a town that's clean, having a town that's safe, having a town that people will feel proud of to live in. I think this is all in one, that if you could say it that way, that would be attractive to any individual that wanted to come in and relocate.
Okay.
Okay. My question is for Mr. Ed Boehner. Is that Junior? Is that correct?
Biner Jr.
Boehner Jr. Okay, I'm horrible with names, man.
You're
You're gonna have
good.
to forgive me.
I've been
Okay?
called worse.
All right. I'm going to ask you the same question. I got two questions for you. I'm going to ask you the same question I presented to Mr. Smith here concerning affordable housing. With all the inflation going up and with everything, just the cost of living in general, just going through the roof. What are your plans, or what do you have in place, or what are your thoughts of doing to make sure you address, those particular problems in our community? You'll have 2 minutes.
Well, like Mr. Smith said, when I moved into Grifton about 11 years ago, it was a nice price. My house was a good price. I'm looking at these houses coming up around us, about the same square footage, and $230,000. I'm like, man, I would not want to buy a house in this market, especially with the way the rates go up and down. I got a fixed rate. I mean, we need to, property taxes went up last year. Everything went up last year, it seemed like. So it's hard to say. I mean, it's just, he's got more experience, I'm going to be honest with you, in that department from being in this role already a couple of times. So it's hard for me to really speak on it because I've really never put thought into it. But I want people to want to come to Grifton and, want it to be like when I bought a house 11 years ago. I want them to be like, hey, this is a nice neighborhood, good price, get some bang from a buck.
That's right. Okay. Well, my next question is the same question I presented to Mr. Kenneth Smith, and this is a community question, actually. What issues make you available enough to give you my vote and not the incumbent?
Well, I can speak highly, like I said, of both these gentlemen here. They've been in, Mr. Kennedy, like you said, he's on a second term, Mr. Smith's. But reason why I want people to vote for me is because I like my community. I want to be there for my community. I'm there through volunteering. I want you to be able to reach out to me anytime. I've said that. Anybody got a question? Reach out to me, message me. I'll meet you face to face, talk. There's a person in this room right now, I'll tell you, we stand outside town hall meetings after with 30 minutes to an hour talking. So I want you to know I'm there to hear your concerns, and I want to bring them to the board.
All right. All right. My question is for all three of you. We'll start with Mr. Kennedy. What steps, and this is from the audience, what step would you take to ensure taxpayer dollars are used efficiently?
You're talking about my taxpaying dollars, man.
Yes. You have 2 minutes to answer that.
Thank you. I think that taxes, it's a bad word that we don't want to talk about, but it's something that we have to have. And I think in the town the size of Grifton, that we're doing the very best that we can to keep our taxes and our tax rate so that it would encourage individuals to come to Grifton to live. As I mentioned, we have one subdivision that's already up and running. We have 2 more subdivisions, and with the bypass from Greenville, it's opened up an artery that in 22 minutes, you can almost be from the medical district into the town of Grifton. And I think looking at taxes, looking at the overall system that we have, I think it's beneficial for the individuals that would come to live there.
Question again for Mr. Smith. What steps would you take to ensure taxpayer dollars are used efficiently?
Well, the great thing about having an effective town hall like we do is that one is that there's a budget management. And so with what we already have in place, the current board has already placed a budget. They've looked at what is valuable. They've looked at what is possible future concerns. The main thing we need to know is that, as Commissioner Kennedy said, is that one, as an elected official, this is not our personal piggy bank just to do what we want to do. And any politician or anyone that simply says that they're going to promise you all of these gifts, understand this, these gifts has to be paid for. I've not seen Santa Claus come every day to Grifton. It might come in December, but he's not coming every day. And so my personal pledge is that with the money that's spent, as we're already doing, is to make sure that those dollars are being spent for the betterment of Grifton. That infrastructure has to be our top priority. And so I believe that we're doing that. I believe we're on the right track, but we need to spend money that affects our families. As I said earlier, as a parent, when a 5-year-old is playing T-ball, we are very competitive. Go out to the T-ball field and see the hard work that's being done there. As someone that enjoys getting out and going and walking through the town, there's a lot of great things happening in Grifton. In fact, I think that we're using our tax money wisely, and we just need to continue to make sure that whatever we spend, that we're spending it for investment, not just throwing money out, but just like at our own home. Are we going to make an investment in that? And you're seeing a lot of that already with your current board, and I want us to continue to do that. I know if you go out to eat or buy groceries, used to I could get a whole grocery cart load at Food Line or any of these other grocery stores and fill it up for a couple $100. Now, I mean, I can carry a couple $100 on both arms with the grocery bags, and you probably understand that. Our town needs to understand is that we're going to spend this money wisely and understand the money we have is not ours, but it's the people's.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Brenner, we're going to ask the same question of you. What steps would you take to ensure taxpayer dollars are used efficiently?
Well, first, Ken, December 6th, Santa Claus is coming to Grifton. I can tell you that. He'll be in the parade. Talking to the citizens, if we need to use taxpayer money for a project, I think as a commissioner, I would like, as a citizen, I'd like my commissioners to get out there and talk to me about, hey, we got to spend this money. But like we said, we can't just, like they all both said, we can't just spend money because we have money. We have to be smart about it. We have to talk to the citizens, say, hey, here's why we're spending this money. So, because I don't like spending money. I don't know about anybody else, but I don't like spending money, but we just got to be smart about it. Like they said, the board has already got things in place. And going forward, we're just going to need to make sure we're not pinching the walls on our citizens and our community and our families more.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Bonner, I have 2 questions for you. What would, and you have 2 minutes, what would you like to see done in Grifton to lessen crime and assist with such issues such as homelessness and those who have drug-addicted problems, addicted to drugs?
Well, I do know that we actually have a fully staffed police force for the first time, and I can't even remember. I've been in town 11 years, and I remember when I first moved in, I would see cops patrolling the streets, just driving up and down. I probably see them go past my house 3 or 4 times in a day, sometimes if I was home all day. So I'm glad that the town, the board, and our chief has worked hard to get us fully staffed. It's really refreshing. And they also, I appreciate the step they took last year to get a cell phone so that when we're calling, it's not going to Pitt County Sheriff's Department. So I think that's a very good step. And, maybe we need to, organize some neighborhood watches too. I know we have certain areas of town where people are seeing some suspicious activity. People are trying to go into vehicles. I've seen posts on Facebook, but those citizens are being vigilant and they are contacting the police and they're warning their neighbors. And I think a community, is just people looking out for each other is one of the best steps we can take to, thwart the crime.
Okay. The second question that I have, what advancements would you like to see in terms of economic development in Grifton?
I would just like to see some businesses, come in like we've talked about. I know if we get some business in, the money will stay in town, the folks will support it. So we just need to keep pushing forward with getting Queen Street a little bit revitalized. I mean, it's looking good. Like I said, that one building's got renovated. Hopefully something will go in there and that will attract more people to come to town with a business.
All right. My question will be for Mr. Kenneth Smith. I have 2 questions for you. You have 2 minutes to respond. The first question, this is a community question. Town governments in North Carolina are being held accountable for not completing the mandates of the ADA Americans with Disabilities Act that were due to be done by July of 1992. What will you do if elected to office to ensure this federal law is followed by ensuring that all programs and places are accessible to everyone who has a disability? You have 2 minutes to respond. You can start the clock.
I can answer in less than 2 minutes if it'd be easier. Follow the law. Simply put, you follow the law. I mean, you ask me what would I do? I would follow the law. So if there's an area that's not, then that's why you have a town manager. And that's why you would see what needs to be done based on policies, and you would just enact those policies. But I like to piggyback just for a minute on the crime issue. Crime is a condition of the heart. And so we are fully staffed there at in Grifton with our police, but we're also called the family town, and I think it's for a reason. I think people feel safe for the most part being in Grifton, and so I'm glad of that, and I want us to keep on that track of doing what we're doing right now.
My next question to you would be a question about the community law enforcement. Of course, that we live in a climate now to where the law enforcement is not exactly popular when it comes to some communities. And my question is, what would you do to kind of bridge the gap between the community and public safety or law enforcement? And you have 2 minutes to respond.
Well, law enforcement's not popular to criminals, and it shouldn't be. If you break the law, you should pay the price for that. But we are also hold our law officials to a standard, well, like we would any profession. And so when we're talking about community engagement, I think it's important, since we're fully staffed, is that the town and those residents, that we have town hall meetings, and so that people can express their concerns, like what you're saying about what their individual ideas are, perception. Sometimes it's just perception. Perception is not always reality. And so that what can we do so we can build those relationships? I've seen a Grifton police officer out. There were some kids playing in the yard, and he got out and he was talking to them and was throwing the ball with them. To me, that's what community policing is all about. It's getting to know these children. It's getting to know your community. And so you feel comfortable walking up to them. My son, who's 5 years old, we tell him, if you get separated from us for some reason, find a policeman if that's the case. And in Grifton, I think we've got a superior police force, and I'm excited to see what they're doing, and maybe they can do more in getting out in the community and letting the community know what services they offer.
Okay. Another question from the audience. We're going to start with you, Mr. Kennedy. What will you do to encourage more civic participation and communications between citizens and leadership?
At each board meeting, our board meetings are open to the public. We try to be transparent. And I have a cell phone, as most individuals do. And my cell phone is in the town hall. If someone needs to get in touch with me and they do not have my number, they can certainly call the town hall and I'll respond to them. Any question that a citizen in Grifton has, I would be more than glad to try and answer. And if I can't answer, I will try to get the answer for them. I think that it's important that we as a board, from the mayor to the 5 commissioners that we have on our board, to be transparent with the citizens of Grifton and be open with what we are planning to do. And I think that since I've been on the board, we've tried to do that.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Brenner, I'm going to ask you the same question from the audience. What will you do to encourage more civic participation and communications between citizens and leadership?
Not to really piggyback on Mr. Kennedy, but yeah, reach out. If I'm elected, reach out to me. You can get me through Facebook. I'll give you my cell phone. I've been saying it for a couple of years. I think the board and the citizens need to have an open line, more transparency. I think that I have felt that there isn't trust amongst citizens and the board sometimes. Sometimes citizens have gone to the board and felt like they've been ignored. I would like for everybody in Grifton not to feel like that, that they can come to me, they can come to, whether it's Mr. Smith that wins, Mr. Kennedy wins, however the combination works out in this election, that they can come to us. They can come to me and say, hey, here's my concern. And I can go to the town manager with it, or the board at the next town hall meeting and say, hey, I spoke with so-and-so, here's their issue.
Thank you. And for you, Mr. Smith, the same question, because the audience wants to know about community engagement and transparency. So what will you do to encourage more civic participation and communications between citizens and leadership?
Well, it's being a two-parter. One is, if you're talking about community engagement, I think we're already on the right track with that, with many of the things that we're doing in our communities. If you're talking about getting them engaged, coming to the town meetings, is that I would probably make sure that we just really emphasize when is the upcoming town meetings, make sure that people know that they're more than welcome to come. One thing unique about Grifton, if you ever come to a town meeting, every board that I've served on as a county commissioner, a mayor, on the school board, most of those boards, and I even said it to our current mayor, I said, you realize you give 5 minutes for residents to speak? Every board I've ever served only gave 3 minutes. And the mayor said to me, he said, because we want to make sure that our citizens are heard. And so that's one thing, is I think that we're doing that. We're listening to the people. And if it takes longer than 5 minutes, like some of my opponents said, we'll be a reach on cell phone, sidewalk, or wherever else. Grifton is not so large, so it's not hard to find where we live also.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Um, I have a question for Mr. Kennedy. I don't want you to feel left out when it comes to the law enforcement and crime question. So I'm going to ask you the same question. What would you like to see done in Grifton to lessen crime and to assist with homelessness and drug addiction problems?
Well, the first part of that, fortunately, we don't have a crime problem.
Mhm.
We have an outstanding police department at the present time, and they do an outstanding job. As far as drug addiction, unfortunately, again, drugs are a problem. And I think it takes not only the police department, but it takes the citizens of Grifton to try and do the very best that they can to eradicate this problem. We know it's there, and we have to all try to work together. As Mr. Smith said, this is a family town, and we try to adhere to that.
All right. Well, we want to thank everyone for the participation. You'll have 1 minute for a closing statement, and we'll start with you, Mr. Brenner. 1 minute.
So elections coming up, early voting starting. You got some great choices up here to vote for. I just hope that I'm one of those votes you give on whether it's an early voting or November 4th. I have really grown in this town. I have made some great friends and volunteer with a great group of people. So my reason for wanting to run for commissioner is because I have Grifton's best interests at heart. I wake up almost every day thinking, what can I do for my neighbors? What can I do for my community? I show up to events just volunteer. I mean, I just enjoy being out amongst the family town community.
Thank you. Closing statement for you, Mr. Smith. 1 minute.
Thank you again for each one that's come out. I just want to make this closing statement. One thing I keep in my pocket sometimes is this envelope. It's a blank envelope, and the reason why it's blank is because if you remember the days before all the text message and emails, we used to send letters to people. On here, you would have to put who's sending it. You have to know who you are. I know who I am. I know that I can do the job. I have done the job in the past in other parts of Eastern North Carolina. Also, you have to put on this envelope where it's going. I know where Grifton is going. I can see the movement. I can see the growth of the town, and I want to be part of that. The last part of this envelope you would need to put on this corner here is a stamp. And you know what that means? Someone's got to pay the price. I know what it's going to take to serve and to do. This is not a once a month job where you go to a meeting 1 hour and your job is done. I understand the commitment level, if elected, of what it's going to take to serve, and I'm willing to do it. My wife is standing behind me, and most importantly, my 5-year-old is also.
Great. And closing statement for you, Mr. Kennedy. 1 minute, please.
Thank you, ma'am. I, as the incumbent, I'm asking you to vote. I'm not necessarily asking you to vote for me. I'm asking you to vote. It's important, whether you vote early or you vote on November the 4th. It's your God-given right. So please do vote. What I would like to say is I'm finishing my second term as a town commissioner in Grifton. And I think during the 8 years that I have served, I've seen Grifton move progressively forward. And I do not want to see our town go backwards. I want to see our town move forward. And I think with the next 4 years, I think we're going to do some great things in Grifton.
Thank you. Okay.
All right, we want to say thank you to the candidates for the Board of Commissioners, Town of Grifton, Mr. Ed Biner Jr., Mr. Claude Kennedy, and Mr. Kenneth Smith. We all give them a hand. We are now going to bring up our next race of candidates for mayor, Town of Grifton. Mr. William Barnes, Mr. Billy Ray Jackson, who is the incumbent, and Miss Mary Newton Moore. Would you please take the table?
Thank you, buddy. Yeah, it's easier that way. It is easier that way.
Okay. Ask all three the same question. Okay. Right. So ask all three the same.
No? Okay, I got you.
But you know.
Long time. Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, could we please come back to order? Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to begin with the next race, which is the mayor, town of Grifton. Again, I do welcome you to submit any questions that you may have. If you would like to submit any questions, please raise your hand. Our ushers will be able to assist you with the card.
Too long? She wanted us to answer her question she submitted. No.
Thank you so much. Moderators, are you ready to proceed? All right, the floor is yours.
Okay, we would like to welcome all the candidates that are running for mayor. And we're going to ask that each candidate have a 1-minute opening statement. And we're going to start with you, Mr. Will Barnes.
Well, thank you. I'm Will. I'm from Grifton, born and raised. Been there over 50 years, more or less. I did move out for a little bit for college, but I came back. Been on the board for quite a few years as a commissioner. Enjoyed it. Earlier you said, we've come a long ways. I was there through Floyd, watched it get built back up since Floyd. And I think we're going in the right direction. And I'm hoping to be able to just to keep it in the direction and keep some of the growth and movement going in our community. And also want to try to see the people of Grifton get more involved in Grifton. It's not just a place for people just to come to lay their head. I'd love to be able to see Grifton get where you can go out and have more events and family stuff to do in town, especially with all the new subdivisions and stuff like that.
All right, thank you. Mr. Billy Ray Jackson, you have 1 minute as an opening statement.
I'd like to start out by saying thank all of you for coming here tonight. My name is Billy Ray Jackson. I've been the mayor. This coming November will be 20 years. The town's come a long ways in that length of time as far as having money, as far as the town being in better shape. The streets are in better shape. We have a level of transparency in our town hall that I think is unquestionable. And I feel honored to have been the mayor that many years. And I appreciate the help from the board members, our town manager. We've got a great one, and our superintendent of public works, police chief, and that's already been spoke on tonight. But I really believe the town's moving in the right direction. Thank you.
All right. Miss Mary Newton Moore, we'd like you to open statement for 1 minute, please.
Thank you very much. My name is Mary Newton Moore. I was born in North Carolina, Farmville. My family moved to Grifton. I went to school there, South 8th High. And then we moved to New Jersey, where I finished my education, college education. I have a degree in business administration and economics. I have a master's degree in supervisory education. I was a teacher in Newark, New Jersey for a number of years. I also ran a daycare center for the Newark Public Housing Authority for 18 years. I served on the Board of Education in Irvington, so I've been politically involved since I've been away from home. And I came back every year spring break, summertime, and Grifton is my home.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Okay. All right. Mr. Barnes,
Yes,
2
ma'am.
minutes. I would like to ask you, what have you learned from your current position that will assist you in your position should you be elected mayor?
Well, I think just in general, as you serve on the board, you find out that, when I originally started on the board, I'd sit out, as most citizens do, I'd sit in the audience. Well, half the time I was the only one sitting out there for a long time, probably years. And you never really understand and get a feel for what actually goes on until you've gotten up on the board as a commissioner. You realize that it's a lot more than just the 30 minutes to an hour you see at a meeting. You see the ins, the outs, the funding, your grants, and where the funding comes from, the amount of paperwork and qualifications that the people have to even apply for grants. I'm talking about there's so many requirements that the town has to meet that you get to see the behind the scenes aspect of it. It's not just as easy as, hey, let me go call up, down State Center and see if he'll send us over a grant for some infrastructure. There's a lot more to it than just begging for money or however you want to say it. And I think knowing the ins and outs of it and knowing the procedures like that, that's probably what I've learned the most as far as being up on the board, seeing the behind. I say behind the scenes, it's all open, but you just don't see it in that hour sitting out in front of the commissioners' meetings.
Okay. My second question is, and you have 2 minutes, what can be done to improve employment opportunities in Grifton?
Still for me?
Yes.
With employment opportunities, number one, we need to have businesses and people that are in places and businesses in town that are willing to hire. Currently, we struggle with getting businesses to stay in town for the reason of, we'll get a business that comes in, everybody supports them for a little while, but then all of a sudden it's, we go to Greenville every day or we go to Kinston every day. Well, we're already in Greenville, Kinston, so we'll buy from there. Well, that hurts the businesses that came to town for us. A lot of these people put stuff on the line and put their own money up to go into these businesses and keep them up and starting in Grifton. And if you can get the community involvement in the whole scenario, I feel that it would create the business would come and stay, the community could be more involved, and therefore you create more employment through that.
That's the same question to the incumbent.
Okay, I asked the same question to Mr. Jackson. What have you learned in your position, your current position, that will assist you in your position should you be elected mayor?
Well, I've learned a lot about prioritizing. I've learned a lot about the wants of the people. I've learned a lot about you can't supply every want. You have to supply according to what the town is obligated to do. And it takes money to do it all. You have people want you to do this but don't go up on the taxes. Don't do that. So you have to be very careful when you start spending money. You have to make investments in things that you're going to see a return on that money. Like you always want to see a return on your money if you can. And a whole lot of time your return on your money will be people coming into town.
And also, 2 minutes for what would you like to see done as far as the employment opportunities in Grifton?
As far as the employment opportunities are concerned, it'll take individuals coming into Grifton with a desire to start business and open shops and put people to work. And again, the people in Grifton need to do business with those businesses in Grifton. But the biggest thing that the town can do for helping businesses is have the infrastructure in place, because it's private money that start businesses. Town can have grants like we had facade grants at one time, and we start that back. Facade grants where we would give up to $2,000 which would be 50% of 4,000. We would give $2,000 grant to anyone that wanted to do some facade work on the front of that building. And there were some businesses in Grifton that took advantage of that.
Thank you. Ms. Newton Moore,
Yes.
Mary Newton Moore. You're not the incumbent, but you certainly have had a lot of past positions and you have a lot of experience. And so can you tell us a little bit about how your past experiences will assist you in our position as mayor?
Well, that's a big question because I've never been mayor before. I've served on Board of Education, and
Right.
that's a lot different than being a mayor. But the main thing is being considerate of people. We have such a diverse group of people, and we need to take a closer look at their needs and their lacks before we just give them anything.
Mhm.
Be it community minded, being out with the community, hearing things that they need to hear from our people that serve on these boards. We just need to be a little more community minded instead of coming to a board meeting once a month and you hear what's going on, but you don't really understand because it wasn't explained to you at the beginning. I think we need more transparency for these meetings because I've been to them and I've left the meeting not knowing anything. What was this all about? I know it has been said that we could call people. That's not always feasible. So we just need to be more community minded. People likes and dislikes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. For the second question, I'd also like to ask you about possible improvements that could be made in Grifton as far as.
I think we can't get people into Grifton.
Mm.
There's no transportation unless you have a car. There's no buses or anything. So who's going to come in to work? Or how are you going to get back home if you come in? So we need to take a look at transportation, be it bus, train, or whatever. But at this moment, we don't have that type of service. So it's hard for people to come in to work, even if there were jobs. How would you get there? Grifton is an old town, like me. We have a lot of seniors there.
Mhm.
They don't need to go to work.
Well, maybe that might create another question. Okay, thank you very much.
All right. My question would be for Mr. William Barnes. We're going to start with you. I'm going to ask this question. You have 2 minutes to respond. And we're going to go back to the question of affordable housing. With the inflation and the cost of living, price of groceries, everything went up. It's making it more harder for people to live. The rent's going up, and I don't see it getting no cheaper no time soon. What will you do to address to make sure you have affordable housing for your community for those who can't afford?
Well, until I can speak on this on so many different levels, but I remember when I bought my first house, I ain't gonna tell you what I paid, but it wasn't much, and it was in Grifton. You can't even buy a car for what I paid for that first house.
Right.
The issue you got though is when most of the houses are owned by individuals and they're rented to individuals that, the town has no say in how much the rent is going to be. I got it. One of my children are still, I'm not gonna say a teenager. He's not a teenager, but I just hate to be a kid in general in today's society to go out because, when I moved out, you could get a rent for like $300 and I'm here in my daughter's neighbor's house. It's not that big and renting for $1,300, $1,400. I don't see how anybody's going to afford it with what the wages are right now. Now, as far as the affordable housing part of it goes, as far as the town itself, we don't own the houses. So, we can't control rent prices. Now some people have come in and opened up Section 8 housing and things like that. But there again, that's going to be, ends up going through you counties typically. And so I'd love to see it. Don't get me wrong. It's nice to have, but you'd be fixing prices otherwise. And unfortunately, like I said, hopefully it's a family town and you love your mom and your daddy and they love you back, because the way it is right now, it's real hard for kids to get out there on their own straight out of college. I just don't see how anybody's going to do it. I don't know if that's going to answer your question, but I can feel the pain.
All right. Now we'll be on the next question be from Mr. Billy Ray Jackson, the incumbent mayor. Ask the same question and the question is the same thing for him for the affordable housing with everything going up. And I'm pretty sure that, like she mentioned, a lot of your community is elderly, and not just elderly, everybody dealing with the same problem. But what will you do to try to, if anything you can do to try to ensure that, do your part to make sure there's affordable housing for the community?
Well,
You have 2
again,
minutes.
affordable housing is going to depend a whole lot on the person that owns the house. The person that renting the house from. I heard one of the men that's running for a commissioner speak about what he paid for his house in comparison to what these houses are selling for now. Well, you know how much people's wages have gone up in the last 11 years. I think he said they've been there 11 years. Well, incomes have increased in 11 years. When your income increases, everything else increases. And then some of it's inflated. But the people that build the house, when you buy a house, when you come to town, like I said, 11 years ago, I think he probably bought a house that was a used home. Somebody had already lived here. These houses he talking about for $230,000 are brand new homes. So you can't compare the cost of a brand new home today to a house that you bought second-handed 11 years ago. And we've got places in town that's zoned for different types of houses. And if somebody come in there and wants to build that type of house, if that piece of property is zoned for that, they're perfectly able to build that.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Mary Newton Moore, I'm asking the same question with all the inflation going on and the cost of everything going up from groceries to whatever you decide you want to buy. What will you personally do to try to, if anything, ensure that there's affordable housing for the community?
That is a hard question for me to answer. For one thing, the landlords, people who own homes, we need new, innovative ideas. We don't have to go on the rent just because we own the house or we rent it to someone. We need to be brought together and consult and say, listen, this person makes $1,600 a month. You can't charge $1,600 for that rent. You need an advocate, someone who could help people to understand that the price of things are going up, have gone up, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we can raise prices just because. And I think housing counselor would be an excellent position for someone who could let people know. There's a crisis in housing. Crisis in jobs. Don't have the money. What you gonna do? I have a lot of people stay with me, but I don't advocate that. So we got to come up with new ideas. And I think new ideas are important for these issues that we're facing today. You got to have new ideas. You can't use the same old routine that we've done for years. Housing counselor would be great.
Okay.
All right.
That's all I have.
All right. From the audience again, in times of crisis, natural disaster, public health issues, how would you lead and communicate with residents? And we're going to ask that question. We'll start with Mr. Barnes.
Well, I've been there through, and I've been served on the board through some smaller disasters, nothing to the level of Floyd or anything. But it's like everything else, as time and technology advances, the town itself has to advance in your communications. You know, not everybody has landlines anymore to reach out and be able to have like a broadband phone line call to let you know a hurricane's coming. Now it goes across cell phones. Everybody's got cell phones. So between the cell phone and mass messaging platforms, your Facebook, Twitter, you know, you have to be involved in up to current technology standards with your employees at the town to be able to announce these disasters heading this way. And then when it comes to recovery, that's where your great town manager comes in, your public works, your police, fire department, all of them, the rescue squad, that's everybody works together in those aspects. And I'd put ours up against anyone in the state of North Carolina, hands down. I think we got some of the best out there, and they take care of business. And like I said, I was there during Floyd. National Guard felt like they stayed there forever, but you know, we bounced back and we kept on. I put us, like I said, as far as the response of it, they have been dead on it. And then the community, the communities all kick in, they help each other. They, you know, I know when we lost power for 2 weeks, it was like big cookouts for the first week because everybody's trying to clear out the freezers as fast as they can because you ain't got no generators. And everybody, it was just like street block parties every night, you know, as far as eating and cooking out and grilling, and you got to know your neighbors better. But now some of the newer things we've had, like COVID and stuff, you couldn't see your neighbors anymore. So now we don't know our neighbors. And so that's where the Facebook, the Twitter, and all the other communication aspect comes in. I think it's just embracing modern technology as far as getting the word out.
All right, thank you. Okay, Mr. Jackson, we're going to ask the same question. With your experience in times of crisis, natural disaster, public health issues, etc., how would you lead and communicate with residents? This is a question from the audience.
Well, let me begin with saying I was not mayor in 1999 when Floyd came. Thank God. Because looking back as a mayor, I understand what the mayor went through before me. Because I've gone through 3 myself where we were flooded. And you know, getting to this money situation, we've come up a lot as far as money in the bank. We've got money in the bank. Grifton's in good financial shape. And it's because we were careful with our money. Now, the reason you need to have money is, you know, FEMA does not pay to remove debris during time of flood. People got the idea in their head that they come in and pay. They don't. They reimburse your money. You have to have the money up front to get that stuff out of the way, and then they come in and they measure, and they pay you by the cubic foot that you take up. I've seen streets flooded. I've seen the water come out the ditches, and we would be without electricity, but through interactions with Duke Energy, we have now got a cofferdam around where the transformers are, and hopefully we won't be without electricity, and Ayden won't be either, because that stuff is all down there around the same place. But if you think that you're going to be able to wait for FEMA to come in and move debris out of a town, look at the western part of the state. It's already been a year, and they still walking around through trash and first one thing and another. And as far as health issues are concerned, the Center for Disease Control, you have to stay your eye on them and follow that direction.
All right, thank you. All right, and Miss Mary Newton Moore, the same question. In times of crisis, natural disaster, public health issues, how would you lead and communicate with residents?
I've never been in a situation where, so for me to say, what would I do? I can't do that. Honestly, I don't know. What if the guidelines are? That's what we have to follow. safety for people, for our town, of water. There's rules and regs that we need to follow in order to keep our people safe. So I can't come up with some of my own to say, I would do this or I would do that. Hopefully there's rules.
Okay. All right. So again, we want to thank the candidates for coming, and we're going to give you 1 minute to have a closing statement. And another question from the audience was, please say one thing positive about the two you are running against. I figured that would be a nice closing statement.
Because I tell you this, I would love to hear something positive about me.
Well, we're going to give you that opportunity, okay?
I want to hear it, though. I want to see it.
All right. So, all right, Miss Mary Newton Moore, 1 minute with a closing statement and two positive things, or one positive thing about the two candidates that you're running against.
Which way
Wow.
you gonna go?
And one is the incumbent, but go ahead.
Okay. Mr. Barnes, I think he's a great person. He's very friendly and outgoing, and you can talk with him after the meetings to find out what you didn't know during the meetings. And I think that's a plus. I think he would make an excellent mayor. He's been around long enough. Earned that. Mr. Billy Ray. Oh, we have our differences.
Okay.
He's a nice guy.
All righty. So we thank you. Okay, Mr. Jackson, something good about the two candidates that you're running and your closing statement.
Ms. Moore. Ms. Moore keeps very clean piece of property.
Okay.
And Commissioner Barnes does a good job of being friendly to people.
Okay.
Is that your closing statement?
That's it.
Okay. All right. Okay, so Mr. Barnes, this is your opportunity to say something good about the two people you're running against.
I'm gonna do this one so you can hear me there, Billy. And Mr. Mayor, I have really enjoyed being on the board, serving under you, and you have managed to, like you pointed out earlier, keep this town growing financially. We've never been in the red I'm aware of. He's done a lot of great things in the time he's been up there, especially when it comes to infrastructure and the budget, and keeping the, like I said, keeping the bank and keeping the bigger governments from coming in and trying to run your house for you.
I appreciate it.
Because that's one thing I don't like. Ms. Moore, all right, now, Ms. Moore,
Yes.
I love to see the community involvement that you have, the ideas that you've brought before the board. You know, some of them we've tried to work on and make happen, but it's just the fact that you're willing to come up to the board, get in front of everybody, and to give a statement, to try to do something to make the town a better place has always been a positive, and I've loved the attitude and the love for the town. As far as myself, I just hope everybody comes out and votes, regardless of which one of us you pick. Have a good evening.
Okay.
Thank you. You have now heard from the candidates for mayor, town of Grifton, Mr. William Barnes, Mr. Billy Ray Jackson, and Miss Mary Newton Moore. Thank you all so much. Let's give them another hand. We are now going to take a few moments to transition to the town of Ayden. There will be a 10-minute exchange.
Now we do it.
Right, right. So this is the same question.
Thank you. It's okay. It's all right. Thank y'all for coming. Okay.
If she's gonna do those, right? I don't know. Okay. So we should just ask them
Just a reminder. It's cold. It's cold. Yeah. It's chilly in here.
Check, check. Check, 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 check. Check, check, check. Check, check. Check. Okay. Check, check.
Switch it back. So we can really take up our whole thing. This is 3. Okay, 3 is gonna come up first. What did you say? You did great.
Okay.
I used to have a ministry at midnight.
My husband and I had a show on her radio station.
I did.
Doesn't know Facebook. Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be coming back for the second half of our forum tonight. However, before we begin with the second half, I want to take a moment to recognize any elected officials. Would you please stand for us? Any elected officials here tonight? All right, if you would please introduce yourself.
Hello. For those who don't know, we welcome the team in. Come here to feed our people the truth from the candidates.
Oh, I thought you took my literary feed for me. And I was like, I ain't want
Y'all may think that y'all getting, that we're doing y'all, but you guys, we appreciate you. I guess the other commission, candidates that's here, some on the board, they can, introduce themselves. Again, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Over here, our interim manager. Those who don't know, we're in a transition period, and if we can't respond to you as soon as you normally would like us to, we're going through that phase of our time. And our human relations person is here, as well as chief is here, and Commissioner Khan, she'll probably. Davis is here as well. Anybody that I missed, I apologize. Thank y'all.
Thank you. We also want to take the time to recognize any news outlets present tonight. Thank you. We also want to give a special acknowledgement to the town of Ayden, specifically Mr. Jeremy Crawford, the Ayden Police Department, all candidates of Grifton and Ayden, the Daily Reflector, the Daily Drum. We also want to give a special thank you to the original Backyard Friday Night Fish located in Ayden. And you will see there are several other individuals that partnered with AwesomeRadio. They are listed in your booklet, so we want to give a special thank you to them as well. All right, we are now going to begin the second part of our forum. But before we do that, would everyone please make sure that your cell phones are silent, on vibrate, or turned off? Thank you so much. All right. Now, we have at the table the Town of Ayden Board of Commissioners, Ward 3. We have Mr. Davon Daggs and Mr. Daniel Hefner. Welcome. We also have a new member as a moderator, and that is Dr. Camille Nicholson. Welcome. All right, the floor is yours to the moderators.
Thank you. It is wonderful to be back in the town of Ayden, which is my hometown. So therefore, I do feel privileged to be able to have a participation in this moderation of the town hall for this evening. To Mr. Devon Daggs, we want to give you 1 minute to introduce yourself, followed by Mr. Daniel Hefner.
All righty, so I am Davon Daggs. I am 25 years old. I was born at the hospital in Greenville. So I make sure everybody know that. I was raised just outside of Ayden on Otar Road by my grandparents, Edna and Jimmy Hebron. My grandfather is deceased after a few years ago, but I was raised by them, taught me the importance of people and serving people. I started my career in public service at Pitt County Sheriff's Office in 2021 as a detention officer at the detention center. From there, I am now employed with the city of Washington as a public servant there. I am a husband to one wife, father to one child. We did buy a house, I'm just make sure everybody know, we did buy a house here in Ayden a year ago, Pitt Street. So I'm not at all hard to find. I'm not really a busy person. My number and address is public information. If you need anything, feel free to call.
Thank you.
My name is Daniel Hefner. I moved here to Ayden, North Carolina in 2008. Had gone to ECU, that typical story of went to ECU to college and stayed here. My wife, Tony, is here. My daughter, Riley, and my mother, Doris, all Ayden residents. Definitely excited to be here and to looking forward to moving the town in a better direction, and very excited to be part of that.
Thank you.
Okay, and I'll begin with the first series of questions for Mr. Daggs. You have 2 minutes. What do you feel is the biggest obstacle facing the town of Ayden today? This is coming from the community.
The current Board of Commissioners.
Would you like to?
Next question.
The next question.
You want to elaborate more?
Would you like to elaborate a little bit more on
No,
that?
ma'am.
Okay. Well, the next question then, sir, is how do you plan to be involved or show interest or support for our local schools?
Also, as a young person, being 25 years old, I am very invested in young people. Me having a son myself, I want to make Ayden, and this is why I'm running for commissioner, a place that people want to call home. A lot of the time we get on social media and there's always controversy about how Ayden or why it operates the way it does. While decisions are made the way they are made, And a lot of times those questions go unanswered. But my biggest thing is not only young people, but old people as well. I want the young people to feel involved. Why? Because they don't. We at Ayden and Grifton, their track team, I want to say it was a 4x100, just won the state championship. Not one representative of Ayden has went out to support them, see them, introduce themselves, walk through the school. However, I'm no commissioner. I'm just a 25-year-old public servant raised right here at Ayden, and I've been out there to show my support for the individuals.
Okay, thank you. The same question for Mr. Hefner. What do you feel is the biggest obstacle facing the town of Ayden today? You have 2 minutes.
Well, I think Ayden is kind of at a crossroads, especially budgetary crossroads. I feel like, we have a lot of different ways we can go. And the next, we need to be more 1 year, 5 year, 10-year plan, being proactive, trying to, there's a lot of different ways to raise money, and there's a lot of different ways to not get money. And we are really at the precipice of needing to figure out what direction that we're going. And I feel like one of the things that I do very well is I'm sort of a good buffer. I really bring fairness, and bringing people together, building relationships. And that's one thing that I pride myself on is, it doesn't have to be my way. It has to be the best way. And that's what I'm really going to target. But going back to the point of, finance is we got to get more lines in the water. We can, if we're going to try, we can try grants, we can try, raising money. We need industry. These type of things are going to be the backbone of us, or they're not. And this is the time to make that decision.
Okay, thank you. Also, the same question as far as the school is concerned. A community question came in, and they were saying that there's a concern with the light bills, the water bills, but they feel as though our children, teachers, principals, bus drivers, etc., should also be a concern. So how do you plan to be involved to show interest or support for our local schools?
Well, I, like Mr. Daggs, have a 8th grader who is in a middle school, so I have a vested interest in this as well. And, every citizen has a vested interest in our schools. Now, Ayden doesn't really make the decision on the schools. That's really a Pitt County Board decision. And so what we can be supportive, it's really, you're talking about community. You're talking about the parents and the students supporting the school as best they can, paying attention, being on top of, the things that need the school. When you start school, you get a list of the things that the teachers need, and that's what they need extra. And that's kind of going to fall on all of us. And so, it's just being more supportive of the community. And I think for the most part, I think Ayden does a pretty good job with that. So.
Okay, thank you.
To Mr. Daggs, how familiar are you with the various activities sponsored by the Ayden Library?
Also, that's a very good question. I am not very, I'm going to be honest, experienced with the various activities. However, I do keep up with the library, how it runs, what it functions, and what it supports. Most important.
Thank you.
Hello. Okay. Testing.
Would you like for him to repeat? Thank you. Mr. Daggs, if elected, will you pledge to support the library by your participation in library activities and increasing its budget allocations in the annual town budget?
Good question. Well, I pledge to support the Ayden Library. That's a very good question. I want to make this very clear, and I want everybody to hear me. I won't just pledge to support the Ayden Library. I'll pledge to support all businesses, not just some. I'll pledge to support all people, not just some.
Thank you. Mr. Hefner, we're going to repeat the same questions for you as well. How familiar are you with the various activities sponsored by the Ayden Library?
Well, I'm not going to say I'm the walking expert, but I do have a child who loves to read and uses the library. They used to do daycares and bring them in there all the time. So I'm familiar with the summer programs and stuff. And I also know that she is very on top of the tech of doing things that make the Ayden Library part of the whole system that, is and brings us all together on that. And so we're not really behind, like some people might think we are.
Thank you. Second question. If elected, will you pledge to support the library by your participation in library activities and increasing its budget allocation in the annual town's budget?
Well, I would certainly pledge my support to any, the library is a big part of the town for the students and the kids. And, obviously you're going to get my attention on that. But pledging my support financially, I'd have to have a look at the budget. I in my last comments, had already reiterated that the budget is tough and the budget is tight. So tough decisions are going to have to be made. And, without having those in front of me, I don't know that I could just pledge my support. Obviously, if there's more money to go, I would have no problem with that.
Thank you.
Okay. My question, we're going to start with Mr. Devon Daggs. Davon. Okay, I'm sorry. Forgive me, man. And my question to you is, and this question comes from the community, and you have 2 minutes to respond. How did Ayden allow the PCA tax to continue with no explanation?
Ask the question one more time.
Okay, the question comes, and again, this comes from the community. I'm not from Ayden, I'm just here. It says, how did Ayden allow the PCA tax to continue with no explanation?
PCA. What is that?
I have no idea, but just, do you want to move on to the next question or?
I mean, I want to give it the
What is the PCA tax? Somebody?
validation it needs, but if somebody who wrote the question can tell me what that is, I'll definitely try to answer your question.
I don't know what PCA tax is either, but.
Anybody here wrote the
Okay, I
question?
think someone has a hand up in the back.
Okay.
It's the writer on the electric.
Power cost adjustment.
Next question.
Okay, next question. All right. Why? You want to answer it? Okay.
Okay, one more time.
All right. I'm gonna ask it again. How did Ayden allow now what was the acronym? Power cost adjustment tax to continue with no explanation. And you have 2 minutes.
What did you say? All right. So why did they allow it to continue with no explanation?
Yes.
I'm gonna go and be honest with you. I can't answer that question because I don't know their reasoning behind why they did whatever it is that they decided to do. However, you got various resources in this room that you can reach out to that they would be willing to love to answer your questions. I'm sure they're very good at their job. I'm sure Stephen Smith would love to answer any questions you have.
Okay. I guess I'll just move on to the next question since you got a little bit more time and you're not familiar. The second question I have, why, and this is from the community again, why have nothing been done? Hold on. Why have nothing been done to repair the streets? Okay. Why hasn't the streets been repaired? Let's just put it like that.
So, that's a very good question. Why haven't the streets been repaired?
Screaming and stuff, I guess.
Say it again. I'm sorry.
No, I was just, yeah.
Okay. All right. So the town has gets a certain amount of money a year, and that money is covered, let's say, a quarter of a mile to repair. They paved that, repaired that, and there's no money to do the rest. So when you ask why hasn't it been repaired or why hasn't it been fixed, I can only answer but so much. But I mean, if I was elected to be commissioner on this board, I would 100% have an answer for you because I would be in the know. But I would encourage you to speak with your current elected officials because I can only answer but so much of that question.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, Mr. Daniel, I'm sorry, Hefner.
That's me.
You got a famous name, but I'll tell you the truth.
You got all the money in the girl. I got the extra.
Yeah, sir. All right, we're going to ask the same. I'm going to ask you to start off with the same question. You'll have 2 minutes to respond, or you can respond to the first part and then the second part of the second question. The first one is, how did Ayden allow the PCA tax to continue with no explanation?
I think the answer to that would be to reach out to your board and find out those questions because, or, I mean, I'm not sure why.
Right.
And, I'm sitting on this side of the table trying to be on that side of the table, but at this particular time, I don't know. There could be a great reason for it, but at this particular moment, I am not aware.
Okay. The second part of the question, I'm going to say it correctly.
No.
Why haven't we done enough to repair the streets in Ayden, North Carolina?
Well, I live in Ward 3, and Ward 3 probably has the worst road in Ayden on Juanita. It is in bad shape. Now they're doing some work on there, building houses and stuff. So it's only going to get worse. And my assumption is at some point it's going to get better. But it speaks to a bigger problem, which is struggling infrastructure. I mean, we need to be able to start putting some money into our infrastructure, and that's a struggle. It goes back to my point about talking about the budget again. I mean, this is why Ayden is at a crossroads. I mean, we are barely getting by and we're growing. And that is a tough position to be in. As a realtor, I sort of came to this with, hey, growth is good. Growth is good. But growth sometimes, because you have to provide the services for that growth, isn't necessarily a great thing. We need bigger growth. We need, like industry or commercial, that's kind of what we need. But even that brings its own negatives and stuff. So that's why this is so important, because the powers that be are going to have to figure out a 5-year plan to get Ayden to where, like, we've got Grifton in here talking about how much money they got in the bank. We don't have any money in the bank. So let's figure out what they're doing in Grifton.
That's right. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, so Mr. Eds, I have a question for you. How will you work collectively, and you have 2 minutes, how will you work collectively with the current mayor, commissioners, and staff to improve town relations and community engagement, to increase transparency of town business, community improvement, and morale?
A very good question. So there's nobody on the current board or on any board that can do anything by themselves. You can't vote by yourself and change nothing. You're gonna need support. You're gonna need help from ultimately your colleagues, which are the other commissioners. But when it comes to community relations, one thing that in the law enforcement community that they do to bring out, the residents, is coffee with a cop. I don't know how many of you are familiar with it, but I actually got to go to one tomorrow. They're doing things, they're having these events so they can and give the opportunity to the residents to come, hey, talk to me, what's on your mind? So if Ayden could somehow figure out a way to have some type of event or a community fun day or get out and walk. Ayden is not very big, but I walk. I've been walking during this entire campaign, knocking on doors, and if I ain't got to your door, wait a while, I'll get there. But I can say this, it's important because not once have I walked and there hasn't been at least 15 neighbors or 15 residents out in their yard doing something. So it's important that you find a way to talk to these residents, to get involved with these residents, to let them know that, hey, there is an option for you to come, have your say so, and help us be better. Because you're never told to learn, and it's important that you hear from the residents about their issues, about their concerns, and you validate them. You can't answer everything, and you can't fix every problem, but there is an answer, and if you don't know it, it's got to be found.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Hefner, same question. And this is coming from the community also. You have 2 minutes. How will you work collectively with the current mayor, commissioners, and staff to improve town relations and community engagement, to increase transparency of town business, community improvement, and morale?
Well, the good news is I found out that I'm not too old to learn because I'm sneaking up on old. So that's good. So this is a really important, this is kind of, what I do best is I build relationships. I make things, I find compromise and common ground. That's what I do. I'm on a fair bit of boards in which I usually consider my role is to bring people together, to, make ideas that don't mesh. I try to do that at my home, and sometimes that doesn't work, but, but, so it's just building trust. It's that, I'm not always going to be right, but I'm going to learn, and I'm going to try my best to make the fairest possible answer that I can get. And that is the best that I can do. And it, it's tricky though, it's like you want to,
That's all right, buddy.
I find that
mic drop.
I will throw it down. That's a whole nother, that's for karaoke. So, everybody that tells me stuff, I take it in, I chew on stuff. I'm not a quick decision. I make quick decisions in my life, but I'm going to take it all and I'm going to put it in the pot and I'm going to stir it around and, come up with a great idea or the best idea. And you're not always going to agree with what I do, but I want you to understand why I do it. And I am an open book for that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Daggs,
Yes.
what do you see as the top 3 issues facing our town council in the next 4 years?
Very good question. Top 3 issues facing the town council in the next 3 years. Well, I definitely think it's there are currently 2 commissioner seats that are up for re-election. And then 2 more years, there'll be time for another re-election with commissioner seats in our mayor seat that we have. So it's most important that you get to know those people, get to know your candidates. Because if you continue to vote for the same, you're going to get what you vote for. I just want to say that as plainly as possible. You continue to vote for the same, you're going to get what you vote for, but yet again, it's the same issues and the same problems year after year after year, but yet you continue to vote for the same thing. So how can we get change if we vote for the same thing?
Thank you. Mr. Hefner?
Yes, ma'am.
Same question. What do you see as the top 3 issues facing our town council in the next 4 years?
Well, I see budget, obviously, which has been something that I've reiterated a few times. I think that, we really need to focus on, thinking more long-term. I think that, it's really easy to blame, why haven't we been doing that? Greenville's growing, Winterville growing, but, you're just getting by, so we really need to figure out a way to start planning a little better in the future. Second would be infrastructure. I think, just basic infrastructure, roads, electricity, sewer, those are things that are going to be paramount to having, it's like we got to have the base before we can start really thinking about growing. And our base it needs some work, and we're going to all have to work together to do that. And I think that I don't believe, as Mr. Daggs does, that it needs a complete change. I just think it needs some fine tuning. And I would like to be the grease of the wheels to make that fine tuning happen. And then, I think everybody pulling in the same direction would be paramount as well. It would be a really, there's a lot of, you've got staff, you've got the mayor, you've got the commissioners, you've got business, we talk about pulling it together, but I think we need to work on pulling together a little bit more. And that hopefully would be something that I could help with.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Again, I'm gonna try to do the best I can reading the cards. All right. I guess this is a 2-part question from one person. You're gonna have 2 minutes. I guess if you want to, you can spend the first minute dealing with the first aspect of the question, and then the last part of the 2 minutes just deal with the second part of the question. but I guess the question said, why is it so hard to get in touch with those who serve? And the second part of the question is, God, what is being done to cope with energy from Duke and rising insurance rates? Okay, whichever one you want to start with, man.
Okay.
You got 2 minutes, bro.
Oh, I'm gonna do the first minute with the first question. Can you read the first?
Okay, the first one. Why is it so hard to get in touch with those who serve? I guess the people in charge.
Okay, that's fine. I'll try to answer your question to the best of my ability. Our current commissioners, mayor, and we just had a transition with the town manager, and our town clerk just resigned. Why is it so hard to get in touch with them? Go ahead, ask them.
You can catch them.
I'm serious. I'm so serious. You're really going to have to ask them. I know one thing. I mean, if you call them, their numbers are public information. It's on the website. Their addresses are public information. If they don't ask to answer the phone, go by the house. I'm not saying go start no trouble now, but I'm saying go by their house. They are serving you. That's why you elected them. They didn't elect you. You elected them. They are serving you. It shouldn't be hard to get up with them at all. I'm just going to be honest. I mean, it's sad, but it's true. It shouldn't be hard to get up with them at all. They are there to serve you, help you, provide for you, and answer your questions.
That's right. Second part of the question, what has been done to cope with energy from Duke and rising insurance rates?
What has been done? Another question you're going to have to ask them. What has been done? I'm just being honest. You're going to have to ask them what has been done. They're great questions. You ask them to two people that's trying to get on the board. I'm just being honest. You ask them to two people that's trying to get on the board that are not on the board. But they're good commissioners. You got a mayor, a town manager, an interim clerk over there, an HR officer. Talk to them. If they don't answer the phone, go by there and see them.
That's right.
I mean, it's imperative that the citizens of Ayden is heard. It's imperative that the citizens of Ayden is validated. It's imperative that their board of commissioners know that, hey, we are listening. We are here for you. We are here to serve you.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for that. Okay. Mr. Daniel Hefner.
That's me.
Okay, again. Man, you're going to have to hit that last name again, man. My goodness. Okay, the same question. You have 2 minutes. Why is it so hard to get in touch with those who serve? And the second part of the question, what has been done to cope with energy from Duke and rising insurance rates?
Well, I can't speak for why it's so hard to get in touch with them, but I can guarantee you that it would not be hard to get in touch with me. This is sort of a funny question to me.
Okay.
I ran for mayor a couple of years ago, and in my big speech that I gave, I talked about I wanted to set up a time at the town hall where a couple of times a month I would just make myself available. I would provide an hour in the morning once a month and an hour in the afternoon once a month. And I got so much flack from that comment because the people taking shots about, oh, you're just going to be available 1 month, but at least you would know twice a month I was going to be there, sitting there waiting for you to speak to me. So I'm all about transparency and making myself available. So that's, all I can do is guarantee you my time. All right. The second question is, those are not questions specific to Ayden. Truthfully, I'm a real estate agent, and insurance going up. You guys don't even know it, but insurance is going up again, like bad, like over 20%. It's going to be bad. They are canceling insurance. Like at the beach, you bought a beach house, now they don't have insurance anymore. So insurance is a humongous issue, but it's not specific to Ayden. It's just a problem. I don't know that I'm going to be able to fix that. I'd love to be able to fix it, but I'm going to be paid it just like everybody else.
And what about the energy part of the question?
Well, the energy, they're kind of inlaid in each other. I mean, now energy is specific to Ayden in the fact that Some people, we really don't have high energy bills. What we have is high sewer bills. Yeah, but they're all on the same bill. So you look at the bill and you go, oh, it's not, again, not specific to Ayden. And so we do need to work on that, but I'm just a lowly guy trying to get by. I got to pay the increased taxes and the increased water just like everybody else.
Okay. Mr. Daggs, I have another community question, and you'll have 2 minutes. And this question says, will you support budget financing for yard maintenance in Ayden for unkept yards and upkeep for Ayden-owned buildings? For example, community building, museum, et cetera, with the lights, the roof, the repairs, floors.
Could you repeat it one more time?
Will you support budget financing for yard maintenance in Ayden for unkept yards and for upkeep of Ayden-owned buildings? For example, community buildings, museum, as far as lights, roof repairs, and floor repairs.
Very good question. So, will I support budgeting for yard keeping? If it's Ayden property, it's already in the budget. It should be kept, not just when the College Festival come around, but year round. There's no reasons that you should just be edging the curves and cutting grass when the College Festival come around, but year round you got grass all over the sidewalks. So let me tell you why I'm talking about it. It's because I walked through and seen it. However, now when it comes to private property, I'm very big on you buy it, you take care of it. You treat it like it's your own. I mean, you don't want nobody, I'm just speaking for myself. You're not going to come to my house and see the grass growing up on the side of the house. You're not going to come see weeds. I take care of it regularly and routinely. And if I can't get to it, I'll have my man come cut it for me or take care of it for me. But as far as budgeting for personal property, I don't think that Ayden should be responsible for your personal property. However, I do believe in code enforcement. I'm not sure if it's the police's job to enforce code, but I work for the city of Washington, and we have a code enforcement officer. So therefore, you should be 100% held liable and kept accountable to keep up your yard. Why? Because Ayden is a place that some people call home and a place that some people want to get away from but can't. And ultimately, I want to be a commissioner I want to be a commissioner at Ayden to a place where people call home, to a place where people want to come. People just don't ride through Ayden during the College Festival. I got so many phone calls about the sidewalks being edged and it looking good, but yet it's not kept when the College Festival's gone. But now with the trash, and I know my time's about to run out, but I believe they say I got 30 seconds. So I know with the town turning over its resources with trash, they've allotted more personnel to lawn care and highway and not highway, but more so town property management. So maybe with those resources there, they can 100% take care of the town year round and how it looks.
Okay, thank you. And same question.
We got to do closing statements.
Oh, we're doing closing statements now. Okay.
I don't get a chance to answer that question.
No.
Well,
Hold on.
30 seconds.
I'm dying.
Yeah, we're gonna give you 30 seconds. Yeah.
I would really like to answer that question. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
So whoever asked that question knows a lot about Ayden, because this is a really difficult question. We are cutting somewhere approximately 40 yards that add up to somewhere. I'm going to tell you a number, but it's like $20,000 or $30,000 a year because the people are not upkeeping themselves. But if you just let it go, there's neighbors and stuff that, this brings crime and critters and, everything that, and so, but what do you just leave it? If you just leave it, you can't put a lien on, well, you can put a lien on the property, but if you're going to foreclose on your neighbors, because this is a really tricky, it's probably a 51-49 both ways. This is not about what the town does. The town is paid to do their part. This is about what do we do? Are we going to enforce laws on our neighbors or not? And that is such a hard, I don't have the answer. I do know that we're doing it. And I know that a lot of people, this is a line for the board right now on, do we keep doing this or not? And, this is why these decisions of who's sitting up here is really important, because there's 5 people making this decision, and this is a money decision, and it either gets done or it doesn't. And it's a hard call. I mean, not every decision is the decision you want to make. There's tough decisions that have to be made. And, this is really, I mean, it sounds small. It's like 40 yards. 40 yards is a lot of yards to be cutting. So he spoke of code enforcement. We do have a code enforcement person who I've sat down with and talked about this very issue. And their hands are kind of tied, because do you not do it or do you do it? And it's a hard call. It really is a hard call. So I appreciate you letting me talk on that.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll have the closing statements, and you'll have 1 minute each.
Start first.
You can start there.
All righty. So again, I'm Davon Dax. I'm 25 years old. I'm not backed by status. I'm backed by purpose. I'm not invested in the title of commissioner. I'm invested in the people that live in this city, the people that live in this town. I want this town to be a place where people want to come, a place where people want to call home. I want this town and this board, and when you elect, whether it's me or him, hopefully it's me, when you elect that person, I want to see change happen. I'm tired of the old politics. It's time for action, not talk.
All right. I just want to thank everybody for being here and listening to us and taking the time and asking good questions. And, one thing I really understand is the scope of my job. My job is I represent Ward 3, but I also represent the whole town of Ayden. And what you will get from me is fair. You may not agree, but you can always come up to me. I am as transparent as I can possibly be. I take the conversation we have, because you might not like what I say, but I'll say it again and again. And I'll follow through and give you my best. And you've heard me mention this a couple times, but it's a crossroads. We really need it. These people here are making really big decisions for everybody. And do you want an adult in the room or do you not? And that's not an age disparity at all. That's just who can make the decisions. And these are tough decisions. And what you heard me about the last thing, it's not always going to be easy, but you got to weigh your decisions and make the best decision you can. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. You have heard from the Board of Commissioners, Ward 3 candidates for the town of Ayden, Mr. Davon Dax and Mr. Daniel Hefner. Let's give them another applause, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm not asking questions.
We are now going to transition to the candidates for Board of Commissioners, Ward 4, town of Ayden. Mr. Johnny Davis, who is the incumbent, would you please take the table? Ms. Kimberly Joyner and Mr. Josh Richardson. And we are going to ask the candidates to please speak into the mics so that your voice will project to the audience.
Okay, so we do one more question. I got you. Right.
All right, we are ready to begin with the second portion of the town of Ayden, Board of Commissioners, Ward 4. Moderators, the floor is yours.
We thank you for allowing us to be here with you on this evening. We are joined by Johnny Davis, Josh Richardson, and Kimberly Joyner. You all have 1 minute apiece for introductions. Mr. Davis, we should start with you.
I'm Johnny Davis. Most people call me Coach. I was born and raised in Kinston. Graduated from Fayetteville State University. Started working in 1968 at South Ayden High School. See a couple of my students in here now. Been married to the same woman for 55 years. Got 3 children and 5 grandchildren. Spent most of my adult life here in Ayden. And if I'm reelected, I'll try to do the very best that I can do. And that's all that you can do your best. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Richardson?
Hey, Josh Richardson, 38 years old. My wife Brittany, my 7-year-old son Brantley is here, and Emmy, my daughter Emmy Kate's 5. Born and raised in Ayden, lived here all my life. I love Ayden, and I love Ayden citizens. And I'm running because I feel like the citizens have been forgotten about, and that I want to be a voice to try to help bring things back to the way Ayden used to be, and improve people's quality of life, investigate some questions I've got into some different things that's been going on, and hopefully make Ayden a better place to live. Thank you.
Ms. Joyner?
Hi, I'm Kimberly Joyner. I'm 50 years old. I am the daughter of Mr. Robert Joyner and Joan Joyner. My father was superintendent of electricity in Ayden for over 35 years, and a volunteer fire, part of the volunteer fire department. My mother was a business owner in South Ayden for over 10 years. So I have a legacy to kind of stand behind. And that gives me the drive to come up here and put myself on the platform today. I have 3 children, Brooklyn, Kareem, and Zion. I'm also an advocate for family, building family relations, making Ayden that family, that place, that family you want to raise your family in. And I also want to be the voice for the voiceless. I want to put a platform out there that you can come and talk to me at least once a month on that Saturday that I want to dedicate myself to, a second Saturday, right after we have our meetings on Monday. So it can be fresh on everybody's mind.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll begin my questions for Ward 4. And we'll begin with Mr. Davis. What is your long-term vision for the town of Ayden? And you have 2 minutes.
Well, my long-term vision for the town of Ayden, just try to make it a better place to live. I don't think it'll take me 2 minutes to answer that. But, you got to treat people right. I've been on the board now for 8 years, and it's been really an experience because government is a very slow process. You got citizens. It's all about you. It's all about the citizens. You can't please everybody, but you try to do the best you can do. People gonna talk about you, but that don't bother me because I taught and coached for 50 years. And you think they didn't talk about me?
That's right.
But it don't bother you. You just do the best you can do and let them talk. That's all you can do.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Richardson, we have the same question for you. What is your long-term vision for the town of Ayden? 2 minutes.
My vision for the town goes back a little bit about the history of Ayden, and a lot of people that live in town now aren't from around here, don't realize this, but Ayden zip code goes from Willow Green and Wilmsville in Greene County all the way to Calico. And it's almost larger than the city of Greenville. The people that live in that area consider themselves to be from Ayden. They tell people that they're from Ayden. They come into town and spend their money in Ayden. They eat breakfast in Ayden. And unfortunately, they don't get a vote on anything, on any matters, things that happen in city limits. I don't know a way of fixing that, but I would like to orchestrate more of a county, an ETJ and even beyond approach to bring Ayden together and help develop what the vision is going to look like 10 years from now as growth expands out. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. Joyner?
Can you repeat the question?
Yes, I can repeat the question. What is your long-term vision for the town of Ayden?
My long-term vision would be togetherness. We have to come together if we're going to change things in Ayden, and we're changing. But to build strong relationships towards the commissioners, the residents, I believe that if you build strong relationships and we have respect for each other, we can get some things done. And that's not an overnight process, but it's a process that can be made. And I'm dedicated to doing that. I'm willing to put myself out there to build these strong relationships with the residents, along with my constituent. Well, if I am commissioner, I would like to build those strong relationships so we can come to the table, even when it's a difficult situation, we can come to the table and have a solution to the problems. So it's basically hearing each other and respecting each other's values.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Davis, my question is on economic development. How do you plan to support local small businesses that are already here?
Well, every time you go there and buy something, you support them. We don't have that many local businesses here. That is one of the things that we need, Talking about affordable housing, we need affordable business so we give people jobs. I don't know if y'all know or not, and it might not be right, but most of the people who live in Ayden don't work in Ayden. A lot of people here works in Greenville, and we got an economic developer as part of the town board, but you just got to keep trying. You just can't stop. You got to keep trying. Whatever it takes to get the job done, that's what you got to do.
Thank you. Mr. Josh Richardson, the same question.
Can you repeat it, please?
Sure. How do you plan to support local small businesses that are already here?
Businesses are already here. Most of them are going to be in the downtown area. Not all of them, but most of them. And we've got to focus on revitalizing downtown and cleaning it up. Number one, the infrastructure and the roads are terrible right now, but we got to make downtown a place people want to come and make it a destination like it used to be for everybody from Snow Hill to Washington. They used to come to Ayden to do things, and our downtown is really falling apart. And now there's some things on the rise that everybody's working toward, but that's the biggest way you're going to support the local small businesses by revitalizing our downtown.
Thank you. Ms. Joyner, the same question. How do you plan to support local small businesses that are already here?
Making it vocal, sharing, letting people know that we have businesses in Ayden, that you can come and spend your money at. Sharing that with your neighbor, when you're in the grocery store, when you're outside of Ayden, letting people know that we have things going on in Ayden that you can come and you can enjoy yourself and also spend your money. I'm one that like to talk. So I would like to be able to share with others what's going on in Ayden, be it by the internet or just person to person.
Thank you.
Okay. My question is for Mr. Johnny Davis. I guess it's just a general question, and you have 2 minutes as usual to respond. Some candidates say their town needs change. How do you think you can make these changes? And what is your plan specifically to change what has already been done that you may or may not think is so bad?
In the first place, this town don't need change. Ayden's a good place to live right now. You know, it changes from week to week, from year to year, but it's a fine place to live. So what I say is, if the people don't like to live in here, they need to move. To be frank with you, it's a good little small town.
When you get older, you can talk like that. When you get older, you know?
No, it's what it's meant to be. We got about 5,000 citizens here. It don't need to be 6,000. It don't need to be 2,000. 5,000 is large enough. And we don't need a whole lot of building mess going on because we've got enough just take care of what we got right now. And that's the way I feel. If y'all know me, y'all know I'm telling it like it is.
Thank you, sir. Okay, Josh Richardson, same question. And again, you have 2 minutes to respond. Some candidates say their town needs change. How do you think you can make these changes? And what is your plan specifically to change what has already been done that you think may or may not think is so bad?
I'll be honest with you, Coach. Personally, I feel I would like for it to stay just the way it was. I would like for my kids to be able to grow up the way I grew up in the. But I'm smart enough to know that if you don't have some type of growth, you're going to stall. You're going to stall the economy and your tax base, and you'll eventually end up dying out. And so you got, it needs to be healthy growth. It needs to be strategic, but and we don't need overbuilding. We don't need building over things that are not correctly planned for. But we need strategic growth that helps sustain the tax base to serve the citizens in the community.
Okay, now do you have the question was, do you have a plan specifically yourself to contribute to that?
So that is the plan.
Oh, that's your plan. Okay, all right. Just making sure I'm clear.
The plan is develop a strategic approach.
I got you.
To plan for healthy development, healthy growth.
I got you.
Could I say something? I can tell you, I got 44 seconds. I can tell you what really needs to be changed here is utility, those light bills.
Well, we just will get to that down the road.
Okay. That's what needs to be changed.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you both for your responses. Kimberly Joyner. Okay. Same question again, as usual. You're going to have 2 minutes to respond to this question. Some candidates say their town needs change. How do you think you can make these changes? And what is your plan specifically to change what has already been done that you may or may not think is so bad?
So change is inevitable. It's gonna happen. Days change, minutes change, seconds change. It's like you're supposed to be in at 9 o'clock. It's 9:15. But my place, I feel that, is to bring it to the people, bring information to people. I'm an information person. I like to know. I'm in the knowing business. I want to know what's going on, and I want to be the one to deliver it to the residents. That's my platform, is to deliver to the people. So, because when you go up there and you have your 2 minutes, I think, maybe it's 3, and you speak, and people be wanting a response from the commissioners, and that's not policy. I would like to be that person to be the response on that following Saturday. So when you didn't get that answer, I can give you more of an answer, or close to an answer, so you can feel that you were heard. And I believe in being consistent and being that second Saturday. That's the consistency I would like to give to the people, to let them know that I'm here, I'm listening, and I want to be a part of whatever your problem is. I want to be a part of your solution.
Thank you.
Okay.
So at this time, we will give each candidate 1 minute to do their closing. And we will start with Mr. Johnny Davis.
I just want to tell all the people, need your vote. I want your vote. And these two guys here, I remember them from high school. But I just want to say to them, they're going to have to wait 4 more years.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Mr. Richardson.
Boy, this guy here, boy.
You have 1 minute.
I'll start with, I think the world of Coach Davis. He taught me in high school, and Kimberly's family, Mr. Robert and Mr. Julia, Mr. Julia was at the high school, and Mr. Robert, my granddad thought the world of him. I always had. I'm running because I think I've got the qualifications, and I can bring some things to the table that Ayden's missing right now. And I think Ayden needs some change on the leadership level from where it's currently at. And I appreciate everybody voting and give me a shot to try to straighten some stuff out. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Kimberly Ward, Joyner, you have 1 minute.
So first of all, I want to solicit that everyone register to vote if you're not registered to vote. When you go behind that little curtain, that's your decision. But think of me. I have deep roots. I have deep roots in Ayden. I went to all 3 schools. My children are been raised in Ayden. They attend Ayden Middle School. I love Ayden. I left Ayden and came back. So you gotta love it to come back. And in that process of coming back, I had to stand on some things that I probably didn't think I didn't have to stand on, but with me standing on it, it gave me the vision and the drive to put my name on that ballot. And if I put my name on the ballot, I say vote for Kimberly Joyner. And I respect both of these gentlemen. But at the same time, this is a race. And we have one winner. And in that, I just want to say thank you all for coming out tonight, and I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. You have heard from the candidates for Board of Commissioners Ward 4, incumbent Mr. Johnny Davis, Kimberly Joyner, and Josh Richardson. Would you please give them another hand? Thank you so much.
Thank y'all for that.
We are now going to transition into our final race for tonight. That will be the Board of Commissioners Ward 5. We have 3 candidates that will be coming to the table. We have the incumbent, Ms. Sarah Parker Connor, Ms. Pamela Lockamy, and Mr. Benjamin Rollins. Would you please come to the table? While they are making their way to the table, I want to remind everyone that on October the 2nd, we will be hosting our second forum in Winterville at the Winterville Town Hall Assembly Room that's located at 2571 Railroad Street in Winterville. That will begin at 7 p.m. The meet and greet will be at 6:30, so please come out and join us. All right. Are the moderators ready?
Yes.
Opening statements, 1 minute each, beginning with Sarah. Sarah Connor.
Good evening, neighbors. My name is Sarah Parker Connor. I'm not going to tell you my age. I probably lived in Ayden for over 50 years. I'm married to Frederick Odell Connor, who is a Vietnam disabled veteran. Together, we have 2 children. We have 5 grandchildren. They keep me inspired every day. I gained my professional experience with the city of Greenville, where I have over 31 years of experience. I received a Bachelor of Science degree from Mount Olive University. Now I am present a commissioner for the town of Ayden, Ward 5. I'm active in the community. I serve on various organizations such as Alpha Kappa Alpha Incorporated. I'm a deaconess at my church. I am a member of the Forbes Code of Command, which is a service organization. Former member of Opera.
Yes, 1 minute.
Yeah, 1 minute.
It's Pamela Lockamy, 1 minute.
Hi, my name is Pamela Lockamy. I live on Park Avenue in Ward 5. My husband Eric's in the back there, and my lovely daughter Candace. She just moved back to Ayden last year and is about to give me a grandbaby. Most of you know me from Facebook probably, or Coltrane Hardware. We're opening the garden center. Before I decided to make that journey, I spent the last 12 years in finance and operations on the back end of banking, a couple years in accounting, managing accounting team. Before that, I had about a decade in retail management. And I have been here my whole life between Greenville, lived with my grandparents a lot here in Ayden, and then with my mom in Greenville, and moved back here 4 years ago when I wanted to buy a house. I wanted to come home, and Ayden's always felt like home.
Thank you.
Okay, we can begin our questioning and with Ms. Sarah Parker Connor. I would like to ask you a question from the community. What do you feel are the top 2 qualifications to serve the people? You have 2 minutes.
To serve the people. First of all, you should know what your job description is. You know once you know what your job description is, you have to be able to work with others, not do things your way, to obey the laws, the rules and regulations, and know that you can't necessarily satisfy everybody, but you have to give it the solution to the best that will be benefit not only you, but benefit the most people that are concerned.
Okay, thank you. And the same question for you, Ms. Lockamy. What do you feel are the top 2 qualifications to serve the people? You have 2 minutes.
Yeah, I think getting out and talking to the people, learning about the people. I think if you don't already have that and know what the issues are in town, you don't need to be on the board. You've really got to get out there and talk to people. I am on various boards, just like Ms. Connor, working with people, and that's how you get to know what your job is going to be, because we're working for them. We are serving our neighbors. Another qualification I think is, having that, not just the knowledge of what your job would be. I echo what she says, but the willingness to learn and research. Because I think, as Devon said earlier, there's been kind of a stagnant on the board. And I think there's a lot more that we could do and learn as commissioners. So I think, diving deeper into that role and researching it is what's really going to help us.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Sarah Parker Connor, question. Ayden is facing ongoing infrastructure challenges for roads, water, sewer, broadband. What are your priorities for infrastructure improvements?
A lot of people might not know, at one board meeting, we voted to appoint a commission to study our drainage problem. This will consist of members from each board, along with a member from the ETJ. This will also consist of expert people in the community and other officials that will know a lot about infrastructure and things of that nature. Once they get the information, gather the information there to bring a report back to the board. That way the board will look at the information and we'll try to come up with a plan to that will be for the betterment of the town.
Thank you. Same question, Ms. Lockamy. Ayden has an ongoing aging infrastructure challenges from the roads, water, sewer, and broadband. What are your priorities for infrastructure improvements?
Yeah, all of those things are priorities, really. It's a matter of prioritizing them. And along with our finance issue, as Daniel spoke about earlier, we have a major finance issue in the town. I do want to say that it is her board idea that she came up with, I believe it was either last year or earlier this year, was a great idea, but it's not happened. We've not heard anything about it. Where do we sign up? It's not happened. And it's been over 6 to 9 months since that idea was presented. And we've got to get boots on the ground. If people know me with the nonprofits I work with in town, I'm boots on the ground. There's dirt under my nails and I'm getting it done. And that's what we need from these people that are working on our board. And I believe that with infrastructure comes, working with engineers, reassessing, like she said. We need to look at the stormwater issues are major, which is a problem with it. Helps with the problems with our roads as all of the flooding that we have. And we have, and this is nothing with the current board. This is years ago. This is decades ago of closing down and diverting drainage to build and develop years ago, developing on top of our watersheds, things like that, we've got to fix those issues. We have to get up with engineers and figure out how do we fix this, and then we can continue to develop. Then we won't have road issues quite as much. So that's where I'm at with that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. My question is for Ms. Sarah Parker Connor. Okay, the question comes in as what do you think your leadership has done to help with the successful advancement of the town of Ayden? And again, as usual, we have 2 minutes.
Okay. My leadership, we had one example, we had a crime issue in the area that I live where gun violence. I brought the neighbors together, we combined with the police force and the property owners, and through our efforts, working together with the police department, the renters, and the neighbors, we were able to get the perpetrators out of the area, and the area is safer. The police department also brought in additional lighting. They brought in extra camera, and they worked together with the police department in another neighboring city to get that problem solved, to working together with the resources that we have and put it to this.
Okay. Thank you for that. Ms. Pamela Lockamy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I said it right the first time. Okay, the same question to you, and again, you have 2 minutes. What do you think your leadership has done to help with the successful advancement of the town of Ayden?
Well, I haven't worked with the leadership yet. From what I've seen in the last 4 years, I know that their focus has been on industry. I don't think that is the proper focus that we need. I don't think we need a bunch of big corporate industry here. We've got finance issues. We're on a state watch list. That's not very successful. The utility rates, and there's nothing we can do about riders and stuff. That's the state issue. There's nothing we can do about that. That's your voting on state issues. But we can do other things to bring money to this town, and they're not getting it done. They're worried about, I don't know if you've seen, there was a strategic planning for economics done as far back as I could find was 2017 with electricities, and they're great nonprofits, our co-op for our electrics, but they work with big industry. They don't work with small downtown businesses. We want to bring business into downtown. I'm working with the Downtown Main Street program. I work with Chamber of Commerce, and I'm trying to come up with ways, working with those groups, to help our town succeed more in town, to bring more jobs into town, to bring us more places to shop in town. I'd like a clothing boutique to shop in town. I mean, there's different things that we could bring into this town. And with that goes in with infrastructure is, we can bring that down Lee Street into South Ayden where it used to be, and no one's been working on that. From what I can find, what I've been looking at the last 7 years at least, is they're just working on that railroad park out there. And that's all our money has been going to with economic development. We've been given little nonprofit things, yes, sponsorships, but all that quit this year, y'all. They took it all away. They're not given to Chamber. They're not given to Downtown Main Street. They're not given to Collar Festival. They're not given to things that are culturally part of our heritage in this town. They've stopped.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I have the question from the audience for Sarah Parker Connor, especially in line with all the work that she does with the police department. This question should be very relevant. What is your plan to ensure our police department has the funding it needs for staffing, training, and equipment?
I must say we have one of the finest police departments in the state, in this nation. I usually go to their police meeting every month. I might have to miss, but just cannot designate just police department. You would have, I would look at the whole board of the whole budget to see what could be properly appropriated. Anything that if we have the funds available, I would certainly support as funds become available. Not taken from one and given to another. I would be sure that all departments are funded equally according to needs and according to what the budget will allow.
Okay, thank you. And the same question for Ms. Lockamy. And if you could include, if you support initiatives to increase officer pay and retention. The question was, what is your plan to ensure our police department has the funding it needs for staffing, training, and equipment?
Absolutely.
2 minutes.
Absolutely support them. As Sarah says, they are a great department. We have a great police department here. I wouldn't get through a parade without them. But in order to support them, again, it comes back to the finance issue that we have. Being on the state watch list, we've got to make sure the last budget that was passed, I'm going line through line, and that's what every one of these commissioners need to do, is it needs to be going line through line. We need to know, what do we need to keep? What is going to be most efficient for us, so that we know what monies we have to give to them and what monies we have to give to fire. And, there are line items on there that I've questioned, and I call the finance manager and ask, what is this? Can you explain this to me? What does this mean? Because it's vague. It just says contracts. I don't know what that means. What contracts are we paying for? And if you look at reports from staff, there are some departments that are on it, man. If you look in the sunshine list on the minutes with their staff departments, some of the departments are so detailed, like probably a little too much. But there are some departments that give you much of nothing. And, what are you spending your money on? Because if I'm not seeing nothing, maybe that could go to the police department. But yeah, I'm fully on with supporting them and ensuring they get what they need. And I'm with that with other departments, with water, with electric. If it's a need and they're asking for it, we need to figure it out. And currently we don't have money, but there's a long-term way, and there's also things that we could probably cut. But until I'm on that board, I can't see the details. I've asked for details, and I can't get every line item for every department. That would be insane if I knew every little bolt the utility department asked for and paid for. But we need more than what's in that agenda that we're shown. I can't say more on what I would do without seeing all of that, and I got to get on the board to see it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Now we're going to have our wrap up with our candidates, who will have 1 minute apiece to do their closing. We'll start with you, Ms. Sarah Parker Connor.
Okay. Thank you all for coming tonight. Thank you for your patience staying until we're almost finished. Only thing I can say, I am like Nehemiah. I am doing a good work. I cannot come down. If you don't believe me, just turn to my Facebook page. I am here, there, and everywhere. Someone said that you cannot get the commissioners. Call me. My husband, if he was here, he would testify.
Call her, I call her.
I'm there. I'm there. I'm here, there, and everywhere. Some people say they don't see how I do what I do. I try to keep abreast of the latest. I attend the legal municipality classes whenever I have a chance. I am trying to keep up with the latest. I talk with local, state, and federal officials trying to get funding and needs for the town of Ayden. It's my passion. It's my heart. So when you get in that booth, remember Sarah Parker.
Thank you. Ms. Pamela Lockamy, 1 minute.
Yeah. So Ayden's my home. My family's had deep roots here. I'm running because I believe our town deserves leaders who are transparent, accountable, and forward-thinking. Right now, we're still on the local government commission's watch list. That means every dollar matters. I'll fight for smarter spending, plain language budget updates to you guys monthly. Stronger reserves so our town is financially stable because we need it. Our utilities, I'm going to push for efficiency. Rising costs hit us and they hit our families and our seniors the hardest. And on economic development, I'm going to work to bring growth that supports our small businesses and keeps our money local. Most importantly, I'm going to meet citizens where they are, whether that be on Facebook, whether that be in my store, whether that be at town hall. I'm going to be here and available to you, and I'm ready to serve. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to the incumbent, Ms. Sarah Parker Connor, and to Ms. Pamela Lockamy, our Board of Commissioner Ward 5 candidates for the town of Ayden. Let's give them an applause. Thank you all for being here tonight. This will conclude the Ayden Grifton Forum. Please join us on October the 2nd in Winterville, and please take a moment to scan your QR code to give this a evaluation. Thank you all so much. Good night. How you doing?
All right.